Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have your NXT Battleground recap, your NJPW Dominion recap. Braun Breaker kills Ricochet, Swerve, and Ospreay go face-to-face, and your Clash at the Castle predictions, that and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
He killed that boy, not even on the windshield, but like the headshot before that. I was like, God damn.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Jurassic Mark. Do you know who directed that? Steven Hilberg.
and one.
And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Mr. BFR, man, there's something wrong with my line. When I dial TK's number, I get a click every time. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 363, chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The holy trinity of BFR. I'm on vacation mode right about now. No more work for the rest of the week. I'll be going to Chicago on tomorrow afternoon, be back on Monday. So your boy's going to catch up on some wrestling, have a little fun, maybe get a little something. You know how we do this shit.
He's heating up. And sitting directly to my right, we have Vice. What's going on, Vice?
Not a whole lot. It's been a long week. It's been a hard week, so I didn't watch a lot of wrestling. So tonight, I'm not trying to step on JCB's toes, but I'm basically just here for color.
He's heating up. No Zach tonight. His son is graduating grade school. So we will miss Zach. We will see him next week. I'm sure he's missing it. I'm sure he's listening to this right now, and he's yelling in wherever he's listening to this, probably in his car, trying to join into the conversation. But
Patience,
alas,
my brother. Patience.
It's just us tonight. We're coming from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. Tons of wrestling to get to. Let's get right to it. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
Dealer's choice. I'll stick to my roots on this one. We'll start with New Japan. We'll go over to Dominion that occurred on, I guess, Sunday morning, depending, like I said, where you were in the world. Interesting show. Bill said last week that he liked the show on paper. I'll be interested to see what we think about as we break this show down. Obviously, we'll start at the top, work our way down. The curtain jerker in a surprise move, but ultimately it comes back to play. We'll talk about that in a second. Naito defeats Callum Newman in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. I guess to me, the moral of the story here was the taking off of the shirt. Usually Naito does not take off his shirt unless it's time to get serious, and it took
unprofessional bullshit.
A couple of Destinos as well to finish off Callum Newman. Callum Newman, I think, is one of those guys that's up and coming. Obviously part of United Empire, the former I shouldn't say the former, but Will Ospreay, former IWGP champion and New Japan contracted star. That's his faction. He and Kyle Flexter both really remind me of Will Ospreay. So in this scenario, it felt like this was not a passing of the torch, but maybe a glimpse into the future. Maybe Callum Newman with some push and a little good booking can get where Callum Newman usurps Naito. Not the case tonight, or not tonight, but you know what I'm going with. Any thoughts on the curtain jerker?
Yeah, could have gone a little bit longer. It was only about 8 minutes, but I understand it is just a special singles match. Callum Newman, they got him earmarked for big things. It's an odd curtain jerker on a show as big as Dominion, and the reason that stands out so much, the reason that I look at this and see this as a harbinger of good things to come for Callum Newman is because it is so strange for him to be fighting Naito, former world champ, just in a special singles match at the beginning. I think, we'll get to the G1 later, but, spoiler alert for later in the conversation, the G1 is back down to 20 participants, so I think that we'll see Callum Newman in the G1, but I definitely would have seen him in the G1 if there were 32, but obviously with only 20, I mean, those now all of a sudden it's like, okay, those are kind of prime spots what we're looking at.
To a certain degree, yeah. I think you can break down if we had the roster in front of us, we can probably put in out of 20 spots, 10 are automatic right off the jump, and then from there, you have the 5 where it would be like the Ishis of the world, legitimately saying like Ishii, these Goto, Yoshihashi,
Yano.
11 through 15.
I mean, do we see Yano? I think we do.
As much as I don't want to say it, yeah, probably. And then you would have what they say the 3 play-in spots, correct?
Yeah, there's 3 play-in spots, and also this year the semifinals. I guess we're talking about the G1, but
correct.
The semifinals is the winner of each block gets a bye
to the semifinals.
To the semifinals, to
correct.
The Final Four. And then the second and third point leaders in each block have a play-in match to face the block leader in the semifinals, in the Final Four.
But what it feels like...
Lots of different ways they can go here, because you're going to have a rematch no matter what. You're going to have a rematch in that play-in match.
And it feels like that. I need to see it play itself out, but it sounds like you're right. To me, this feels like the play-in for the NBA, where you would have these, instead of the top two teams, but the top 2 guys in each block, you have 3 guys, the top 3 guys in each block, but the third guy is essentially the play-in guy. So they have, whoever that person is, if they book it right, say like like a Hanare or Shota Umino, somebody that can, Shota Umino doesn't need a run, but somebody that they can push, that you don't see coming, and then the next thing you know, they're in the finals, something crazy like that. So that's the only thing that I can think of that would be like, okay, this sounds like a good move. But I did hesitate on the 4 blocks, and then ultimately I came around to that. So hopefully this is just the same thing.
I mean, I'm definitely cool with there only being 2 blocks. I mean, there was a lot of fucking matches last year.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say 32 motherfuckers. You got to break that shit down.
But as far as the opening match goes, it was fine.
That was fine.
Thanks for taking your shirt off, Night.
Thanks for coming out and playing. Next up, you had a 6-man tag. One of the guys that I keep trumpeting is Zack Sabre Jr. He and TMDK. In this case, it was Jose Fujita and Robbie Eagles facing Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, and LJ Query. LJ Query is from Pro Wrestling Noah. He's part of the good-looking guys, GLG for short. Probably the big heel faction of
the Bang Bang Scissor good-looking guys gang.
Nice, well played.
Actually, I have no idea. I mean, they might be cool.
Actually, good-looking guys is, to me, like I said, the top heel faction in Pro Wrestling Noah. So to have LJ Query on this card is,
I knew that.
It's a little important. Neither here nor there. LJ Query's arrogance, I guess, came back to bit him in the butt when he took one too many swipes at Zack Sabre Jr., and Zack Sabre Jr. said, enough's enough, proceeded to womp that hind quarter. I believe it was finished by submission. Zack Sabre Jr., TMDK wins. This is the person I thought that was going to come out and challenge Moxley. I didn't see Collision beforehand. I didn't know that he had already challenged Orange Cassidy. And at that point, I was like, okay, now this really makes sense. That's why, to me, in this scenario, you had Naito on the card. Neither here nor there. Nice little match in between.
Yeah, I think because I did pick this, and I think that when I picked it, my reasoning for it was they're keeping Sabre Jr. strong going into the G1. He is probably the favorite in the G1, or at least he's
he should be one of the favorites.
He's the people's favorite from the folks that I talk to, which is basically Jason and Zach. So yeah, cool. What's next?
Title match, one of the first title matches of the evening, the KOPW Pro Wrestling title. I I can't think what was the name of the storm catch rule. So basically, like Bill said last week, think of the pure rules from Ring of Honor. You had 2 rope breaks, a third, whether it was going over the rope, which that ended up coming into play, or you escape from the rope, that was basically ended the match. No strikes. You could only win by knockout or submission. So in this scenario, as much as I didn't want to pick against Great-O-Khan, obviously Great-O-Khan versus Uemura was the title match here, Uemura being the title holder coming in, but all these rules really favored Great-O-Khan, and as I was watching the match and listening to the commentary, I was shaking my head. I'm like, now, see, if Great-O-Khan can't win this match, specifically designed for wrestling and ground game, and this is his whole thing. He's a legit wrestler. This is his forte. How he loses this, if he loses this, in my head, I'm thinking there's no way he can come back from this. He can't be in the G1, New Japan Cup. This is basically a softball.
Is Great-O-Khan in the G1? Oh, I just can't wait.
He is now. I think now he is.
Brackets, yeah, he's got to be now.
Obviously, Great-O-Khan wins. I can't be mad about this because, like I said, as the match progressed, you could see how Great-O-Khan's, I guess, superiority in mat wrestling, in technical wrestling, started to take over the match. Uemura is going to be fine. I just thought it was weird to have Uemura trying to prove himself in this kind of match when it clearly was the Great-O-Khan match and tailored for him, and he ended up doing so. And I thought this was a good move. It's finally, maybe now we can start pushing Great-O-Khan just a smidge.
Might be out of the penalty box. Seems like they didn't like him for a while there.
I don't know what he did, but damn.
He must have done something. Kudos to these two guys for telling a pretty cool story surrounded by these rules. Big time kudos to Chris Charlton and Walker Stewart.
Yep.
Who I still contend I don't think those two guys like each other shoot style. Like, I really don't think they like each other. There's just little stuff that I pick on where it's like, oh my god, like I think they're I don't think they enjoy each other's company.
I think they rib each other. I think it's good. It's like me and you. We fuck with each other. I don't think it's never
about that.
You think
it's not like Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon or something. It's like I think that they don't like each other. I don't know. It's just a little. It's a little spicy. Little things that I got from it.
It's a little spicy.
It seems like it's like there's some like what do you call it? Some passive aggression going on. Anyway, but those two guys did a great job telling the story of the rules as the match went and making the match make sense. You know, they did it in the way where they were kind of constantly reminding us of the rules, but they were doing it in the flow of calling the match. It was really good, and it made it very enjoyable.
Turned out to be a better match than I anticipated. I thought this would be one of the low points of the night. It actually exceeded my expectations. To me, the right guy went over. Like, I've always thought Uemura is going to be fine, especially him coming back and getting right back into the thick of things. Great-O-Khan is just kind of, it's like watching dead weight slowly go to the bottom of the ocean. It's just like, man, did this motherfucker actually hit the bottom? And now it finally, hopefully, for his sake, he has a little life going forward. But obviously, time shall tell. Next up, you had a fatal four-way match, an elimination-style match for the now unified IWGP and New Strong tag team titles. In no particular order, TMDK versus ELP and Hikuleu versus Chase and Kenta versus Bishamon. Bishamon, obviously, if you watch New Japan, they are the team in New Japan. They're the predominant team. They've been pushed very strong for the last couple years. Every award, they've won the World Tag League, I believe, back-to-back now. They've won the IWGP titles multiple times, took it off to FTR, the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, they're that team. So, for me, in a scenario where it's a bunch of teams and the best team in the division, it's hard for me to bet against them. But the number 2 team, obviously, TMDK, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols, is a personal favorite team of mine. I always thought that they should have been the IWGP champions even before this, but they've ran into the Bishamon wall. Chase and Kenta, for whatever reason, they have now won the tag team titles twice. I understand how you gifted him the titles twice before TMDK. Another
like,
story for another time.
And
then, obviously, the story coming in was ELP and Hikuleu. Hikuleu, one of many around wrestling, but in this scenario, Hikuleu's contract coming up for New Japan. Rumblings have already started with him going to the WWE and being a part of the Bloodline story. A friend of mine hit me up on Twitter. There's already a trademark for Hikuleu's name. So going into this, it wasn't a surprise that.
And what is that name?
Tonga?
Isn't it Tala Tonga?
Talia Tonga.
T-I-L-I.
No, Talia.
Tala Tonga.
Okay. That's going to be
because he's 6'9", now he's Tala Tonga?
No, apparently that's like his middle name or some shit.
Or is the other Tonga really short?
Yeah. Like they should have named Tangaloa Can't Work a Tonga.
Oh, no. Stop. Leave that man alone. He gonna be working tag team for a minute, man. Damn. Don't say shit. That motherfucker over there in the gym pushing some weights like, shit, what the fuck is hitting me in my leg?
This was another in a line of good booking decisions as far as New Japan goes. In fact, looking at the card, I would say that I was pleasantly surprised that the guy that I thought should have gone over, the team that should have gone over in my mind, went over in every single match tonight. Okay, so what's next? You wanted Yano and Oleg Boltin. You wanted them to win against
LIJ. Against LIJ. Yeah, because that would serve my purposes on two different levels.
So we have the TMDK has the tag belts, and Sabre Jr., let's get that big belt on him. Let's have TMDK just walking around with all the gold.
Well,
baby.
I was getting ready to say Fujita and Robbie Eagles on Sunday have the junior tag title match against Maloney and Clark Connors, so that could be a title change right there. So it could happen.
The mighty don't kneel, motherfuckers.
It could happen.
The mighty don't kneel.
I'll just say this. For that fatal four-way, and then we could jump to the, I believe it's the sixth man that was next. No, never mind. It doesn't matter. It took two tank busters to finally beat Bishamon. When Bishamon kicked out of the first one, I literally just got up and I just, I kicked the air or whatever because I was like, now see, this is how they just gonna fucking keep playing me, teasing the motherfucker, but they finally, like you said, they got the shit right. The elimination part of it, just going back to the Hikuleu part of it and how ultimately you can see it happening. ELP accidentally kicked Hikuleu, and ultimately that's how they get eliminated. You can see the sparking of the beef after the match where Hikuleu's giving ELP the death stare and ELP's trying to explain himself. Okay, so ultimately that's how that part is going to happen. Fine. We'll get right off Hikuleu. All I'll say about that is, remember, everybody, or at least New Japan, this is the guy that you had beat Jay White, and now you're letting him go to WWE. Neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say to that. Like, see you later, Hikuleu. See you, man. I hope ELP beats him on the way out. Just later.
If he does it, then there's a problem on our hands.
I'd rather him be in the Bloodline now anyway. It's not like I'm not being precious about New Japan. It's just like, to me, it's all one big promotion. Like, I don't give a fuck who works for anybody. Like, I'm just a fan. So I'd rather see Hikuleu in the Bloodline. So see you later.
Is the Bloodline going south on you that bad, or you just want to see it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You just want to have them over there.
I want the Bloodline. I want there to be like 20 of them.
Motherfucker, this ain't NWO, man. Calm down. Shit. That's what was wrong with them at
Macho
the end.
Man.
Kurt Hennig. I say that should be a drinking game. Name the NWO guys. There you go. For those who like to have drinking games, that's for you. Next up was the New Japan World TV Championship. Jeff Cobb is coming in as champion versus Tomohiro Ishii as the challenger. Obviously, in a 15-minute match, you kind of knew what you were walking into, and yeah, you got what you got. This was the match of the night, at least coming up to this point. And
awesome.
in whatever this was, 11:47.
Jeff Cobb was throwing Ishii around like a child.
Yeah, and
he picked him up dead weight off the ground and put him all over his shoulder.
That's what I said.
Into a tour of the islands.
That's why I was saying about guys that could use a push. Everybody, I guess this is New Japan's fault, but Jeff Cobb is a guy that beat Okada, okay? The same guy that you, like Jonah back in the day, you let his ass go to WWE. Jeff Cobb has been sitting right there, patiently waiting for some sort of a push. I would love to think that Jeff Cobb would hold the TV title. I'm not saying he needs to break Zack Sabre Jr.'s record. I don't give a shit if he holds it for a year and 2 days.
Chris Charlton said,
push strong.
Chris Charlton said at the end of this match, he was like, just inject this match into my veins. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. The last 5 minutes of that match were fucking awesome.
It's
exactly what you want,
and
dude.
That's why I say Ishii for that reason. It started off slow because, I don't expect a match to... Well, I shouldn't even say that. They came out and started banging each other in the middle of the ring, so I shouldn't even say that.
When Ishii just decides to lay on a clothesline from hell sometimes, it's like, fucking god damn.
Dude, the clothesline he sold for Jeff Cobb was literally like watching him flip in slow motion. I'm like, Jesus Christ. These motherfuckers are killing each other. Ishii's, like I said, that's why Ishii, to me, is one of those guys that...
He's got to be in the
G1 because
as long as he's healthy.
As long as he's healthy, he can make other guys.
I want Ishii to be around forever. So if he needs to take a little bit of time off, if he needs to take a G1 off, so that we get 3 or 4 more G1. I don't think he has 3 or 4 G1s.
No, I'll say you might be squeezing that real. Like, hang on, there's a couple of jobs left.
So yeah, fuck it, get in there, Ishii.
I say this might be the last of the last motherfucker. For real.
Match of the night though.
That's to that point. Actually, I
might have been the match of the night.
Okay, we can hold that thought for 30 seconds because it does kind of get a little joppity. Never open weight 6-man title match. You had the aforementioned Yano, Olin Bolin, and Tanahashi versus the LIJ team of Bushi, Hiromu, and Tsuji. So Hiromu apparently has never won never 6-man title. Tsuji's never won a title. Bushi's kind of the glue in the between. So I figured at that point, this might be the time to do it. God love Olin Bolin. He was, to me, the standout of this match.
He was great.
A guy that size shouldn't be leapfrogging over Tsuji, then delivering a drop kick, and then minutes beforehand, literally using him like a human barbell, for a lack of a better term.
The thing about Oleg Boltin is that you look at him and you're like, man, what was your path to get here? It looks like he should be fighting bare knuckle in some basement in
wrestling bears and
Kosovo
shit.
Or something.
Yeah, he should be wrestling bears straight up.
Like him being in pro wrestling in a match with Yano is really funny to me because they could not be more different.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the polar opposite of all.
And they held belts together.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, how that works, I'm looking at Tanahashi like, what? Okay, all right, man, fuck
That's
it.
That's going to be a real trivia question someday.
No, you got me on that one last week because I was about to say, if you asked me a month from now, I might not even get that. This was what it was, but to me, I thought Olin Bolin was the standout guy. More so, and everybody loves Yota Tsuji. Everybody does. There's not a person I know that watches New Japan that does not.
The man.
Yes. But in this scenario, there was one brighter star. I thought Bolin was amazing in this match. Hopefully a sign of things to come. I wouldn't be opposed to him being in one of those play-in spots. He didn't even have to win the shit.
I'm not even sure he stood. I'm not even sure he was the standout.
I thought he was, totally. Who'd you think was?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, no.
That's why he took. That's why he took the pin. Stand on that, motherfucker.
That Hiromu, Yota Tsuji, Bushi. That's a formidable team.
It should be for a 6-man, that should be a team that should hold the titles for a little bit. But the never 6-man, the never open weight title, which we're getting ready to talk about,
doesn't matter.
It's literally a carousel.
Nobody
of
knows
shit.
who fucking holds it.
It ultimately, it's not. It doesn't matter. These are the prop titles.
Okada held that belt for a long time. Didn't even carry it out to the ring.
Nah,
He didn't even give a fuck about it.
Oh, we defended that shit? Okay, I'll bring that motherfucker.
all right.
Outside of that, they'd have to announce him as the never open weight 6-man champion. Speaking.
Okada, hurry up! Your 6-man match is coming up.
Shut up, bitches.
You ain't shit. Next up, never open weight title match. You have Shingo Takagi as the champion versus Hanare as the challenger. This was one of the matches I was really looking forward to. This was what I thought was going to be the upset special of the night. It was well on the way, and then all of a sudden they were both on the mat. I'm thinking, oh no, this is not going to go down like this. Double count out, double knockout, however you want to call it. Both guys cannot beat the 10 count. So in this scenario, it is considered a draw. Shingo Takagi wins and retains the never open weight title. Didn't know that this was a, I guess, record-breaking title defense for Shingo. I had people trying to defend this booking decision to me about this. For me personally,
so you think Hanare
should have won. I think this was a great, especially now when Shingo is getting ready to come over to AEW and perform in the Owen Hart tournament. A loss for Shingo is not hurting him. Who cares about breaking the title for the Never Openweight Championship? It does not matter. Hanare is in a perfect spot to finally usurp his arch nemesis in Shingo Takagi and win the title. Why not just make it happen?
Good match.
Yeah.
I was surprised by the finish. They did it in a way, though, that made Hanare look strong because he got up after the 10 count,
right,
and Shingo continued to sell it.
Yeah.
So, so in that way, you know, it's kind of like getting a visual pin. It's probably even a little bit better than getting a visual pin, kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style.
But I guess when I said, listen, I would have been cool with Hanare winning also. I guess when I said that I wanted Shingo to win, it's because I picked him. So this could have been controversial. You know, it is a testament to the professionalism of the band from Ringside co-hosts that I texted Jason and Zach and I said, I think that when we make the rule, we are picking who leaves with the belt, not who wins or loses in case there's a DQ or something like this. So because I picked Shingo, that got me an extra point. So I'll go through the standings a little bit later. What was next, Jason?
Yes, as I roll my eyes at Shingo, that was like the extra, and one. Not only did the guy that I picked in the upset special didn't win, now it's going to be like, oh, really? And he's going to walk out with the title because you both
professional bullshit.
Okay, this is that bullshit right here. And I had to say it on the thread because the nigga was so salty. Next up, you had salty. I was typing that shit, son of a bitch. IWGP title match. Jon Moxley, the champion, coming in as the champion, like I said, versus Evil as the challenger in a lumberjack rule. So you had House of Torture on one side, and make sure I'm saying it right. Nagata, Tenzan, Tiger Mask, and Shota Umino on the other side. Did I get it?
I have no fucking idea.
I'm going to go with that. So that's your lumberjacks on the outside.
You just said two guys I've never heard of. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. The clan member from... No, I'm joking.
Just fucking eyes rolling in the back of my head while they're talking about those guys.
So, obviously...
Mad that this match is happening.
You and me both. This was the typical House of Torture match. God bless Jon Moxley. The fact that he's even in this match and at least... trying to make me believe that House of Torture has a chance in this. Commendable. I did not buy it for one bit. It would be different if this was just House of Torture on the outside with nobody else in Moxley's corner. Then I would be a little more concerned. At this point, it was just a standard IWGP title match. Not much more to be said. Looking for big spots. Moxley doesn't bleed, which was the kind of a surprise to me. But, well, I mean, I'm sorry. Moxley bleeds. I mean, that that's kind of SOP in some of his matches, and especially in a lumberjack match where there's basically no rules, no nothing involved. I was expecting a little color. Go ahead.
Listen, you may like what House of Torture does. I kind of like what House of Torture does. I don't like the matches, but I know that they're out there, and I know they're doing it, and I respect that. You know what that's from?
Yeah, Zoolander.
Yeah, Zoolander.
He says Sting.
Yeah, he's talking about Sting.
I'm listening to his music.
I have to be myself though. I have to keep it real here. This match fucking sucked. This is your heavyweight championship belt. The heavyweight championship matches historically in the 6 or 7 years I've been watching NJPW. That is what carries your card. They always deliver, almost always, non-Sonata edition, but
Ouch.
like they almost always deliver. And to have this match for the belt when, like, what is the point of making Moxley champion if you're going to have him in these garbage style fucking matches? Does he just not want to go out there and tear it down in a New Japan style match where it builds and builds and builds, and then you get a last 5 minutes that are euphoric? Like, what is the fucking point? This match sucked. You have to say this match sucked, right?
It was not very good. To me, like I said, I wanted it to at least be entertaining. I was pretty sure Moxley was going to win, but you never know, especially with House of Torture involved. But I mean,
I didn't know. I picked Evil.
Upon retrospect, there was a point where if you didn't have any rooting interest involved and you were just watching the match, obviously they had Moxley in a couple of spots where you could be like, oh, this could have been the spot, oh, this could have been the spot, and it didn't happen. The fact that we even have Evil in these matches, that's the spot. That's the part that bothers me. If we're just going to line up guys for Moxley to beat and have that be the way to elevate the title, that's not going to work. It's now getting to the point where, obviously, post-match, Naito comes out. We'll have the rematch at Forbidden Door. We were trying to figure out last week, who is Moxley's opponent going to be at Forbidden Door if we retain.
Naito's name wasn't even mentioned.
And he wasn't even close. And now we've come full circle. I am a Naito mark. I don't want to see that shit a second time around.
Naito going to take it off him?
If he does, then what was the point of giving it to Moxley in the first place? It would be literally watching a dog chase its tail. And then if the dog finally figure out, you know what, man, this shit ain't even worth it. Oh, it's my own tail. Fuck. It serves no purpose.
I think in that analogy, the dog would catch its tail, right?
And then be happy you caught it.
I guess so. I guess dogs can catch its own tail. Neither here nor there. I'll just say this. That would be A, a waste of time, and
Better
B,
analogy is like trying to suck your own dick.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, too. Like Marilyn Manson. Trying to suck his own dick.
Yeah, you got to get your rib removed. Is that even a thing?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
wow, okay. I'd say, and one.
No, that's an alley-oop. And one.
To me, the only reason you're doing this is I would like to think that Naito would lose again, and then you would set up the ultimate next opponent. Hopefully, in my mind, like I've been saying it all the time, Zack Sabre Jr. feels like that guy. That, to me, would be the G1 winner whenever that time would, I think it ends in August, feels right. I think it goes July to August.
I guess I kind of thought that we were done with Naito
I thought so, too.
being in the mix.
I thought so, too. And now when he strode out, I was just like, dude, you got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, literally, I was legit mad for like 15 seconds. Like, this is some bullshit.
Fuck this match, fuck the booking on this match, and fuck House of Torture.
Check, and check. Main event time, you had the Best of the Super Juniors 31 edition. Two guys I shouldn't say two guys I didn't think would be there. One, in El Desperado, outside of Hiromu, is probably the number 2 guy, 1A, whatever you want to call it, in the junior division, versus Taiji Ishimori, arguably one of the top 3 guys, depending on what order you want to put them in. Ishimori, I would say, is one of the top 3 junior heavyweights in the mix. Came back from injury from last year, now back in the finals, so you have an interesting story coming into it. I thought this was a really good match. It delivered everything I thought it would be, and then some.
This your match of the night?
I thought this was the match of the night. This is the match I was very intrigued in because it had the main event spot the first time for a junior heavyweight match to have a main event spot. So at that point, I figured that they were going to do something to quote unquote earn that spot. And as far as I'm concerned, they did nothing to take away from anything that happened beforehand. This was really, really well played out. Desperado wins, no problem with that. It ultimately makes sense because one of the bad booking decisions that I had to slam New Japan on was him losing the title of the show in a count out. So now in this case, if we're coming full circle, this full circle makes some fucking sense. At least in this scenario, Desperado runs the gauntlet. He beats Taiji Ishimori in the final, and now has a chance to rectify one of the bad booking decisions of the year.
Listen, this could have easily, saying this is match of the night, I have no problem with. This match was really awesome. Didn't overstay its welcome. It was about 22 minutes. They can. I think these guys have gone Broadway before, haven't they? Or am I getting them mixed up with somebody else? Anyway, I was kind of settling in like they could really go a long time.
With no time limit. No, it's no time limit.
No time limit.
Yeah, you better settle in.
And Despy and Ishimori, they probably thought that they had a little something more to prove because they're not the heavyweights and they were at the top of the card. They were the main event. But they didn't overstay the welcome. Love the match, really high work rate, New Japan style cruiserweight match. So, our Super Junior match. So, very cool.
Yeah, it was good to see Ishimori back and get this strong push back to at least to the final of the BOSJ. I'm sorry. This just felt like Desperado's time to finally win. It teased me a little bit because obviously Ishimori beat Hiromu in the semifinals, so that was a huge deal. That could have been, the signal that it might have been Ishimori's time. But I think ultimately he'll get his chance. Master Waddle's going to come back. The junior division is going to be nice. Yeah, Titan always comes back for Best of Super Juniors as well. So it's always a good tournament to watch.
So Show comes out to talk shit with the belt at the end with Desperado, and they basically do who's on first out there. Like they were doing like a straight up comedy routine with each other, and Show getting very frustrated and being the nebbish nerdy one, and Desperado being the funny one. It was. It's pretty funny, actually.
I've seen worse. We were talking about last week in the era of Vince McMahon. There's been so many worse segments. And God bless Chris Charlton. Another, tip of the hat, trying to narrate back and forth.
He speaks Japanese,
and he's the narrator of this nonsense. I mean, he's just keeping up as best as humanly possible. So in that scenario, I caught that, by the way. In that scenario, once again, kudos to Chris Charlton, one of the best color guys in the game. But ultimately, this is fine. I mean, was it funny? Yeah, but it took the long way around to ultimately becoming a steel cage match for the IWGP Junior title. That'll be Sunday as well. That's going to be the main event for Sunday as well. So back-to-back main events for the junior heavyweights on New Japan. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and grade that event?
C.
I'll give it a B. It was very, very good, very enjoyable to watch. The only thing that pissed me off was the main event. So, yeah, probably B minus, actually.
That wasn't even the main event.
Or the heavyweight.
The semi-main. About to say, that shit. To me, we've seen this before. It's just title matches, which was fine. But
I don't know. New Japan's been bad for a while, so it's nice to see them have a good event.
But this to me was no different than the matches, the cards that you and Zach make fun of me because I watched them all. This could have been a random ass Tuesday. All they had was title matches and the Best of the Super Juniors final. Outside of that, we've seen this shit before.
That's a big fucking deal.
We've seen this shit before, though. It's not like they broke ground on this shit. So, okay, you want to break this shit down?
No.
Okay. Average. C.
Yeah, all right. I'm with you. B minus. C plus.
Motherfucker, that ain't average.
All right, we got NXT Battleground. Some intriguing matchups on here. Some booking different ways that they could go, but we'll start off with the women's 6-woman ladder match for the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. We had Mishin, Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka, Jaida Parker, Lash Legend, and Fallon Henry. Kalani Jordan ends up going over. Jason, I'll go first.
No. I can go first.
Go ahead.
The Homer Simpson dog is essentially that's how I felt about it, and it's not a knock against Kalani Jordan. We all kind of thought that she was just there to be there, and then ultimately, when I look up, she's the one winning the title. I was just like, oh, okay, so interesting move. I'm not going to sit here and say that I like Kalani Jordan. I said last week, I'm just now starting to see what I think other people in NXT, HBK, I guess, in particular, sees, which is fine. All the other women, Michin included, I think are talented enough in one fashion or another. In the fashion of Michin, she's talented. In the fashion of Lash Legend, she's got the character. Jada Parker, too. They don't necessarily, I'm not worried about them. It was just a surprise to see Kalani Jordan put in this spot only 2 years in the business and now being put as the second best woman in the division, if you want to go in the way of titles and then everybody else. The match was solid. I thought it could have been a little better, but ultimately it was, to me, I was ultimately surprised to see Kalani Jordan win the title.
Listen, Zach likes to remind us that belts are props, and I was reminded when watching this match that these, besides Mishin, are basically 5 developmental wrestlers wrestling in a ladder match. This match was fine. They worked hard. That Lash Legend bump looked fucking rough. I wanted to talk to her and be like, you don't have to do this.
Fuck that. I'm trying to win, boss.
Oh, God. But, Kalani Jordan, to me, she kind of seems like, this is going to sound harsh, she kind of seems like generic NXT women's wrestler. Like, Sol Ruka's got a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. I know. That's kind of what I was trying to say without saying it. Kalani Jordan is white meat babyface. And that is that's her character. Cool. I was just ultimately surprised they pulled the trigger on her this early when you had all these other talented women that could have easily taken this and done the same thing, and maybe even more. We don't know how this title reign is going to go out. I'm assuming that it's going to at least be somewhat strong. We'll see, but like I said, ultimately, I was surprised by the booking of the match.
Up next, we have Nathan Frazer and Axiom versus the OC for the NXT tag belts. Axiom.
I'm a fucking idiot.
I was surprised when I was checking this off earlier today. I was surprised to see that you had picked the OC.
Well, part of the reason I picked him
Explain yourself.
Yeah, right. No, I'm going to right now. But I was been adamant. The whole reason in my mind to go down there is to go down there and win the titles. Never in my mind that I thought they were down there to put a team over. Obviously, that's the case here. I guess, I don't know. I like Nathan Frazer and Axiom together as a team in a vacuum. I don't like them as a long-term tag team. It kind of played out on...
Because they don't have a name.
I don't give a fuck about their name. Shit.
You want them to have... You like it when teams are teams.
I
you
like
want them
it
to wear
when
matching unis.
I would love them to have matching unis. I would love for them to have a team name. They don't, and that's okay. I don't think they're here long to be the tag team champions anyway. You saw how Nathan Frazer was eyeballing the Heritage Cup on Tuesday night. It was like Lord of the Rings type shit. He was already like, my precious. So he was already like, fuck this motherfucker. He getting ready to give this dude the boot. So ultimately, this was what it was. It was a pretty good match. I'm glad to see tag teams in WWE just getting some sort of run, but ultimately I was like, okay, now you just made me look stupid.
On a
because I picked you
scale of 1 to
motherfuckers.
10, how hard did Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows work in this match? On a scale of 1 to 10, grade their effort. I'd say it was like a 4.
I was going to say 3.
On a scale of 7 to 17 natural lights, how hard did they work?
I mean, they were, they
They were at least a 12-pack in.
No, they don't wrestle drinking, but they definitely drink. They do seem like natural light guys too. They do not seem like they're not drinking craft IPA.
I got to work a little bit
They're
afterwards,
drinking
man.
Steve Weiser.
No shit. No, this was fine. I'm a little surprised with the OC booking because now after this, I'm like, okay, so now what? Not doing anything with them on the main roster. Not doing anything with them on NXT.
Nothing.
I'm just like, what? They backed up. Okay, so basically they're going to back up AJ in this title match coming up. I mean, damn, how do I get their job? That's some shit right there. That's the job I want. Fuck working 2 jobs. These motherfuckers show up randomly out of the blue, get checks regularly, and then disappear into the abyss.
I don't remember what order this went in, but we're going to go with the women's NXT Underground match next, which was Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice. Lola Vice ends up going over strong. This was
wonky. Come on, man. Why is
What
Shayna
happened? I
Baszler?
don't remember.
Why is because Shayna Baszler starts beating up the crowd on the outside for whatever reason. Okay. It's not like they did anything to her. Hell,
she's a rabid dog, man.
okay, well then down. Put the rabid dog down, but let's
She
not
did.
let's not make the fallen bodies the excuse of why the rabid dog goes down. Just a few like 5 minutes ago, they caught her ass from her getting knocked out, legitimately knocked out. If I was right, I'd be like, no, let this bitch fall. Shit. So they catch her ass and basically save her from not losing the match right then. So then minutes later, she decides she's gonna turn on them and start knocking these motherfuckers out.
I just think
trips on one of them to hit the steps, and that's how the finish happens.
Let me try
Wonky.
to save this because I didn't remember any of that. I think it's strong booking for Lola Vice to have her go over Shayna Baszler in this match.
Just have her go over.
Let me save myself. She did go over.
No, just have her go over strong.
They got to keep Shayna Baszler strong so
For
she
what?
can lose to Alba Fire.
For what? Okay, thank you. For what? Give me a motherfucking break. That
To
ship
put
has
Alba
sailed.
Fire over.
That ship has sailed. The minute that she came up to the main roster and lost to Becky Lynch, that was it. That was her rap. That's her ceiling in the main roster. Now the fact that you had her come back in NXT and have her come back and all the hype, I was down for it. Okay, I don't even like NXT underground matches. I don't like underground matches. I think they're fucking stupid. The fact that Shayna Baszler had her in a fucking ankle lock and Lower Vice rolled through like you supposed to. That's basically 101 out of submission wrestling. Shayna Baszler's running to the rope and then not even the ropes. The ropes weren't even there. She runs into the ring post. I'm like, dude, this is weak. I can suspend disbelief like nobody's business.
I wish the people
Love
at
me
home
some
could
Star
have
Wars.
seen him pantomime running.
I love
You gotta
Star
put
Wars.
this shit on YouTube.
I wish they could have seen me pantomiming him, pantomiming running.
It was good. I liked it.
You get my point. The
Looks
fact
like a
that
dude on 8-bit Nintendo.
I look good for 8-bit Nintendo. I don't give a fuck.
Like one of the first Marios.
I can suspend disbelief like nobody's business. This was pushing the limit, and then on the outside when she's knocking everybody out, I'm like, why is she punching these motherfuckers? I don't get it. They just saved you. Ultimately, karma bit her in the ass, but it doesn't make sense. Just make it make sense. This doesn't make any sort of sense outside the finish. Lower Vice wins, fine. But then just put her over strong and be done with it.
I don't want to make this all about what I picked. But I picked Joe Coffey, and Joe Coffey got pinned by Obafemi. Obafemi goes over in a triple threat match with Wes Lee. I did pick Lola Vice, though.
Yeah, you did.
But what do you think? What do you think about this triple threat match?
That Obafemi is the truth. He's the next, I said it before, he's the next Braun Breaker. He's the first Obafemi. He's going to be that guy that should be on top of NXT at some point towards the end of the year. I'll go to the end of the year. I think Trick's going to get a solid run as NXT champion. They've built him up. They put some cachet behind him, and I think he's going to have a good run. But like I said, to me, the match that I want to see in all of NXT, if you gave me the pencil right now, I want Trick versus Obafemi for the title. How we get there, I guess Wesley is going to be a part of this. How you get the title off of Obafemi, that's the question. Because, I mean, obviously, in a triple threat, that hasn't worked. We've done that back-to-back. He's literally throwing human bodies around like just goddamn. I mean, he threw Joe Coffey like it was not shit.
Yeah, he's legit. He's the real deal.
Okay? He has basically everything that WWE would possibly want.
WrestleMania 46 main event is Logan Paul versus Obafemi.
And nigga, laugh now. This motherfucker might be Negro Diamonds here in like 3 or 4 years. You ain't too far from the truth. I'm telling you, man, Obafemi is
William
on
Thomas.
the way.
That's night one. Night two is Brodus Clay versus Roman Reigns.
Taking the time off after main event in 8 years, he comes back against Brodus Clay. It writes itself. Obafemi, like I said, to me, Obafemi's the shit. Wesley not taking the pin obviously keeps him strong, but this was a very entertaining match, but obviously Obafemi being the highlight of the whole.
Yeah, we had Roxanne Perez versus Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace, TNA champion. Very intriguing. They could have gone a lot of different ways. They ended up going with the safe route. At least the safe route as I see it, which was Roxanne Perez going over. Really good match. Roxanne Perez is really young, but she belongs where she is on the card. This match was cool as fuck.
Watching Roxanne standing toe-to-toe against Jordynne Grace, and when I say toe-to-toe, I mean trading back and forth, that to me was a sign of, I would assume, things to come. If the end game is truly Julia, and that's the match that Roxanne drops the title to, that's going to be, this Jordynne Grace match is going to be a blueprint of what that Julia match versus Roxanne would be. In a vacuum, I thought this was really, really good. I think Jordynne Grace is one of the better women's wrestlers in the world, and it came out here. The booking of it, okay, if you want to knock something for that, I get that. Tatum Paxley, it makes sense if you watch NXT on the regular basis. It makes sense. They already teased it beforehand.
Dana Brooke had to go to TNA to show up in a title match in WWE.
That's the one thing that I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, but I haven't been watching TNA recently. I didn't expect to see Ash by Elegance / Dana Brooke make her return back to NXT, but she did. I think ultimately that is to get eyes on their product being TNA. I keep using the word partnership, and this feels like a partnership part of the program, where now, in theory, if you were interested in, okay, what's going to happen next with Jordynne Grace, you should be watching TNA tonight, tomorrow, whatever the case may be, and then that's how both sides will work. Like I said, I thought this was really good. I like the fact that Roxanne won. It wasn't about fuckery, distraction perhaps, but it wasn't about fuckery, and it was a nice way to finish the match. Jordynne Grace loses nothing, and Roxanne gains everything.
NXT Men's Heavyweight Championship match. Trick Williams holds it right now, and he fights the new to NXT, All Ego Ethan Page. What was I thinking? I picked Ethan Page here, and you know what? Last week's predictions were so much fun because we all got a little crazy. We're all getting a little crazier, and I like that. That means that means the
shit.
I'm
watching
wrestling
some shit.
is
I'm
better.
like, God damn it, you're an idiot.
Listen, this match was just okay. Trick Williams is okay in the ring. He fights like a guy who seems a lot bigger than he is. It's a lot of big moves and using his charisma in between those big moves. This match was okay.
I was a little better than okay. I liked the match. It wasn't the best match. It was probably maybe the third best match of the night. I'll say third, easily.
It was better than Evil versus Moxley.
And there's the sad part about it, but that's another story for another time. Everybody, I think we just got to remember that Trick is still learning on the job.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
It's a developmental brand, though.
A and B, he's the top. He's the face of said developmental brand. So we're watching Trick develop as we go along. Do I get what you're saying? Yeah, I've seen better matches this weekend. This was in a vacuum. This was good. If you compare it to anything else, it will suffer. I thought Ethan Page was made to look strong. The finish, getting caught by the Trick knee, that's fine. It doesn't hurt Ethan Page, and I think ultimately long term they have plans for Ethan Page, and that's okay. Trick Williams is going to get better. We're just going to have to watch him do it. It's not going to be like Carmelo Hayes wasn't Carmelo when he first started out. Braun Breaker, same way. We're just going to watch Trick grow up in front of our eyes.
So for the weekend, in terms of predictions, Zach got 13 right. Zach won. I got 12 right with the help of that Shingo draw, and Jason got 10 right. So right now, Jason and Zach are tied for third place with 97, and Bill is in first place with 99.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. I was over in the corner of the cast like, what's wrong with this nigga? He more mad than normal.
Fun week of weekend of wrestling, though. That's for sure. Let's get to that 3 count.
It was interesting. That's for damn sure.
JCB, where you want to go with the 3 count?
Honestly, and I was thinking about this today. I was watching Dynamite from last night, and I was like, wow, just comparing the two big boys in America, AEW and WWE, it really feels like WWE really has momentum. It has stories that I'm more interested in, and this is a build towards Forbidden Door for AEW. Obviously, on the WWE side, it's the go-home show for Clash of the Castle. I want to talk about WWE because obviously we'll have predictions about that. We could talk about AEW on the back end. Just for me personally, and I'll speak for myself, I just thought this week WWE did a much better job across the board, storylines and or wrestling.
I mean, if we're comparing the two, there's no doubt that WWE's got hotter storylines. There are matches that I want to see. I want to see Ospreay versus Swerve. The build to it has been like they haven't really done anything. Like we're watching
it's basically watching chalk. If you want to say chalk, I mean like in a tournament where the top seeds just walk through the tournament, and now we're meeting them in the finals.
It seems really meandering the way they're telling these stories. The fact that we're getting a blood and guts match with the Young Bucks versus Team AEW after we just got Anarchy in the Arena. It's like, what the fuck?
Let it breathe, dude.
Yeah, seriously. So they're going to have 2 of these car crash matches right in a row? It's like, fight for the belts at the next one,
That's why I was like, okay, if you're going to do it, then that's fine. But then let's bring in like a whole new group of guys. There's an undercard, a mid-card here. You can't tell me you can get 8 other guys to do a blood and guts match and try to get 8 other guys over. These guys are over as fuck. Yeah. I don't even care who's on the other side. Obviously, Swerve's going to be on the other side and 3 other guys.
The Young Bucks are booking themselves in these matches because they like fighting these matches.
Okay, that's fine.
There can be no other explanation for it.
That's fine. But like you said, and I said it today, as soon as they started to go down this road, I'm like, really? We're going to do this again? Yeah, you guys are going to do this again? Come on now.
It was surprising.
To say the least.
What are we talking about, AEW or WWE?
We're talking about WWE because I was about to say, I want to talk about that leading towards Clash of the Castle, their Forbidden Door, yada, yada, yada.
What happened on WWE?
Why are you laughing?
I just read something that I wrote here.
Okay.
You're going to hear it in a second.
Let's just talk about SmackDown.
Like he's getting tickled over here.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, damn, motherfucker, when I say that was that damn funny. Wasn't that good?
You're pounding around all of a sudden.
You're about to see.
SmackDown opens with the Bloodline, KO, and the Space Cadets, a.k.a. Street Profits.
That's what I wrote down. I wrote down Space Cadets. I was like, Jason called them the Space Cadets last week.
I actually got some rest this week, so I actually knew it. You're welcome for the Space Cadets joke. Obviously, this sets up the main event at the end of the show. Once again, I thought this was Paul Heyman doing a really good job of keeping the Bloodline storyline going as KO is coming in, getting ready to get pounced upon, but obviously the Street Profits make the save. Jade and Bianca, I believe, they won clean, but then end up getting into a altercation backstage with the two other women's contenders. Who is it? Alba Fire and
Isla Dawn.
And then Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. Another reason why, if you wanted to keep Shayna Baszler strong, this is the reason to do it.
Did you see Alba Fire's mom was visiting her in Orlando last weekend and got hit by a car and died?
I did hear that.
That's fucking terrible.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, that's
condolences.
Yeah, that's wild as fuck. You know,
right? That is rough. That's terrible.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
She's still gonna fight Clash of the Castle.
God bless her for it. I would not. Look, you're going to have to get somebody else. I'm not going to.
That is fucking rough.
Yeah, I was going to say, guess who's not going to be on the card?
And then I saw
this guy here.
I saw that there was a GoFundMe to get the body flown back to wherever she's from. I'm sorry. I think she's from England. Or maybe it's Scotland. Is she Scottish? Anyway, they had a GoFundMe to get the body back. It's like, hey, WWE, why don't you just foot that bill, guys? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think you got this one,
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. What?
Calling you out, WWE, you cheap bastard.
I was about to say.
I bet Nick Khan would, but Tony Khan would.
Tony Khan definitely would.
Without question. Cody's looking for AJ backstage. Obviously, they meet out into the ring. This is going to be a rematch, but obviously this second time around is going to be an I Quit match. I didn't suspect an I Quit match, but it definitely is an intriguing twist to things. It gives Cody's title run a twist that I didn't necessarily think we would see right away, but it makes the second match a little more intriguing. Probably still going to be the same end result, but thoughts on an I Quit AJ Cody match?
I mean, I hate it. I hate I Quit matches. They're stupid. They're like last man standing matches. The whole time the referee's holding a microphone and shoving it into their face to say I quit. I mean, I get that it's an old school Cody type match. It's like Memphis wrestling, like South wrestling fucking staple, these I Quit matches. I don't want to see this. I want to see them have a match. I don't want to see them have an I Quit match.
Completely fair.
Unless they do something like they did with who was it where they played the tape of the guy saying I quit? And was that
was Rock versus Mick Foley. I think that was that Royal Rumble? Sounds right.
They should have like AJ doing a Cody impression. Is like, I quit. And it's like, motherfucker, that's AJ Styles. I know what you sound like, you dumbass. Fucking dick.
That's that, man. You ain't shit, dog. Grayson Waller defeats Johnny Gargano. Grayson Waller using Austin Theory to lead into the win. It almost feels like this is an Austin Theory babyface turn? Question mark.
He's been a babyface before.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I think he was
a babyface in NXT for a little while.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think that he's a easily hateable heel. I don't think you need
to see either of those guys as baby faces.
Right. So I'm thinking just lean into this shit and just have them be the chicken shit tag team champions.
Waller seems to be the more talented of the two, the whole package.
Grayson
on the mic, come on.
Advantage Waller. In the ring.
Big time advantage.
In the ring, I don't know. To me, that feels push.
Totally agree. Which is why I said the total package. Like, if it's a push in ring, and Austin Theory's probably got a little bit on him in the ring, but Grayson Waller is far and away. I mean, Grayson Waller is top of the heap on mic.
For WWE, I would say that he has
got his own style.
He has a ton of potential on the main roster that we haven't seen yet. On NXT,
he's got an accent.
Got an accent.
On NXT, we've seen it. Okay, so I'm willing to say that you have cachet behind what you say. We just now need to see it on the main roster. Logan Paul is one of those guys that we, just all take turns and just blowing him on, because part of the reason why, and we saw it here later on in SmackDown, is that he was on for like maybe 2 minutes, cut a 2-minute promo, and that 2-minute promo, I was like, God damn, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's Grayson Waller. We just haven't seen Grayson Waller been put in that spot. Okay. God bless, Logan Paul, but Logan Paul, basically leapfrogged him, and now he's in the spot where I thought Grayson Waller could have been and probably should be down the line.
I'll say something a little controversial here.
Oh, shit.
I think that the feud with John Cena did more to hurt Austin Theory than it did help him. Because John Cena owned him so hard on those. He really kind of buried him on those promos. And this might be I might be being worked. But when John Cena said to Austin Theory, if you guys were doing your job, I wouldn't have to be here. It's like, fuck. Like, saying that to a guy's face, just dressing him down. Grayson Waller's never been talked to like that. He fought Edge, and then Edge shook his hand afterwards, put him over.
I don't think that's totally...
Another reason why it's fuck John Cena.
I don't think it's that...
Seriously.
Well, are we going to degrade the motherfucker for telling the truth? What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. Shit. All of a sudden he's CM Punk on this motherfucker.
Just like I'm gonna criticize MJF for his promo last week when it seemed like he buried the company in his return promo. Yeah, I'm gonna say,
your job, the company.
Your job out there is to get motherfuckers over. John Cena did the job, lost to him at WrestleMania, but nobody remembers that because they didn't do anything with it.
No, I think people remember it. I just think the problem is...
That's true. People remember Fandango beating Jericho, too.
But the problem is what happens afterwards. Like I'm saying, it's the follow-up. What do you do? I remember that shit, man. I was like, what the fuck is this? Who is this dude?
I loved it.
It was way over the top.
One with a leg drop.
Oh, yeah, off the top. It still was Fandango's finisher, but neither here nor there. I think Austin Theory's problem was that Vince never did anything behind that, and then he's just kind of he was the Money in the Bank champion, brief holder, whatever you want to call him, and he was basically, for a good chunk of a year, we waited,
yeah.
And then that failed.
Was that before or after he beat Cena? That was before he beat Cena. We've been talking about Austin Theory too much.
Okay, just about to say, I think that was after, but...
He's that good at his job.
No, it was before he beat Cena. I take that back. And then they used Cena to kind of get him back on track. Okay, There we go. LA Knight beats Carmelo Hayes. LA Knight obviously looking for the aforementioned Logan Paul. Logan Paul cuts a promo on him, just slicing and dicing him like a Ginsu knife. It was ridiculous. If you haven't seen it, I would say go out of your way and check that shit out. Just minor backstory.
LA Knight is good enough on mic to...
Oh, he'll get him back.
He'll get him back.
Yeah, it'll be a get back. Just, round one goes to Logan Paul.
Logan Paul was really good.
Yeah, I was about to say, this motherfucker was, yikes. Enough. Stop. Tiffany Stratton tries to befriend Nia Jax backstage. Nia Jax and Meechin fight. They're going to fight next week. Bayley and Piper have a nice little in-ring segment. Piper Niven is one of the people that I've been saying for a long, long time. She needs to get more. Before Nia Jax, it was probably Piper Niven that should have been the Queen Monster heel. Neither here nor there. This is her chance to at least impress people. I was talking about Ricochet the other day, where Dutch Mantel was saying that part of Ricochet's problem, or the biggest problem with Ricochet, is that he can't talk. He can do everything in the ring, but he can't talk. That's why he won't be a draw.
Do you mean Zeb Coulter?
I mean Zeb Coulter.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize. We, the people, part of the reason that Ricochet is leaving or may leave WWE is that he can't draw. Nobody will invest in him. I thought this was a chance for Piper Niven to, even though you figure that she's going to lose, that maybe somebody higher up will be like, okay, she has something. Whatever this is, whatever X is, that, maybe we can, come back to her down the line. Obviously, they didn't do that with Ricochet. The Logan Paul feud was the time for where Ricochet talked a lot. He talked basically all the way up to, he tried to help build it on his side to get to that Logan Paul match, and that didn't fail. Or that didn't work, I'm sorry.
Let me say this first. Piper Niven was really great in this segment.
Agreed.
And cut a really good promo.
Agreed.
So good on her. They're giving her the spotlight. Chelsea Green does all the talking in that duo. So for Piper Niven to come out and cut a really passionate, good heel promo that made sense, where it sounded like a person that had coherent thoughts about why they think they were going to beat Bayley. Good on her. If we're going to have the Ricochet conversation now, we can have the Ricochet conversation now.
It's WWE. Let's have the Ricochet conversation.
Okay, so Ricochet gets killed by Braun Breaker on Raw, and we'll come back to SmackDown, but we brought up Ricochet. So
We're almost done with SmackDown. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can talk about Raw.
the rumors out there that Ricochet has asked for a release from his contract, or his contract come back up, he's not re-signing, something of that nature. I don't know.
The latter.
I'm not a journalist.
It's the latter that I hear, but go ahead.
So the idea being that he wants to go to AEW, probably because he wants to have a Will Ospreay match, because they had a very famous or infamous from where you're sitting match in the 2016 Battle of the Super Juniors, I believe.
Sounds right.
Where they start off the match without touching for a long time, but it was very acrobatic, very gymnast style, and a lot of people a lot of UFC guys caught wind of it, and they were like, "This is just fucking dancing. Like, what are you people doing watching this?" But if you're into the fake stuff like we are, it was actually pretty fun and a really great match. I think they're friends. So he wants to go to AEW. Obviously, all of this is shrouded in mystery because nobody's releasing what a contract looks like or where they're at in contract negotiations. There is no sports center for this shit. So do you think that Ricochet's going? Did this feel like they were writing him off television for good the other night with Braun Breaker?
Yeah, Tinder Mahal was watching it live, and I was catching up with something else. I was watching Battleground when Raw was on. I was like, look, I want to watch that first, and then I would watch Raw afterwards. And
Professional bullshit.
Well, no, I was behind for the
professional.
weekend. I was behind for the weekend, so neither here nor there. He was like, have you seen it? I was like, no, I haven't seen it yet. I'll talk to you when I watch it. We can go over it. This feels like classic how you write somebody off TV, okay? Like I said, the first shot where he hit his head and then his back hit the concrete looked like the harder of the two shots. I mean, he splatted on that concrete. I was like, ugh, this looks painful. Now the windshield, automatically that was CM Punk, and I had to giggle about that because I was like, CM Punk somewhere is probably losing his goddamn mind. But neither here nor there. To me, it's the sign where Ricochet is at least going away, where if this is a major injury, they sold it as such. They brought Samantha Irvin out. That's why you had Pat McAfee, doing the ring announce in the closed Raw or whatever the case may be. They did everything. To me, they did everything to basically, bon voyage to Ricochet.
If this is indeed the end of Ricochet in WWE for the time being, did they do Ricochet right?
It could have been worse. He could have been Dean Ambrose losing to Nia Jax.
Yeah, taking this gets over. that does feel more insulting.
I wish we could have a gift right there of old boy where he's kind of like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but he's just kind of like, you ain't lying.
It's Alonzo Mourning shaking his head and like,
you ain't lying.
But did they do Ricochet right overall? Did he get enough run in WWE? He was on television a lot. He was never going to be their heavyweight champion.
No. So that's, I guess, it's the perspective of the person. For me,
he could be AEW's heavyweight champion.
He could. And I guess ultimately that's going to be his decision to make. Did WWE do him right?
FTR champion.
Ooh, see, you ain't shit.
He could win the FT dub.
God damn. Oh, God. See, that's my fear. That's my fear for Ricochet, that he'll go over there, he'll have this classic, instant classic match with Will Ospreay, and then the next thing you know, he'll be chasing Chris Jericho for the FTR title. I mean, I don't want to see that shit. Ricochet did all that you could do for Ricochet, a person like Ricochet.
He'd be on Rampage pretty quick now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Janosuke Cashed is on Rampage. How the fuck's that happen?
In the middle.
Okay, that shouldn't be happening, but that's neither here nor there.
After a deep promo.
Ricochet can't talk. And in
the walking.
WWE, you got to have character, or you have to have an over-the-top character in WWE, or you have to be able to talk to keep fans invested. He doesn't have either or.
I mean, he had that match against Logan Paul was a big spot for him, and he was on TV a lot. You know, I'm sure he made some money. Who knows what Tony Khan is backing up the truck to give him? You know, Tony Khan came out this week and said, he didn't say I don't book to make money, but he did say I book for the sickos because I'm a sicko, which part of me appreciates it. And then when I think about it, I'm like, man, that's making an excuse for not making money. It's like,
yeah, I mean, let's just call it for what it is for 30 seconds. AEW has a lot of great stars, okay? The roster is amazing. There's really only one or two storylines that I'm like, okay, I want to see what happens next.
There's too much random shit.
Forbidden Door, to me, doesn't feel like random. They do it all the time, but they don't do enough around these other 12 or 11 months to build Forbidden Door to where it should feel bigger. This just feels like a pay-per-view.
I don't know about that. They
Come on now.
They throw in a lot of guys that aren't AEW full-time wrestlers and give them a lot of TV time every single week. Why are you doing that? Because is he leaning into the sicko thing? And listen, the way that I interpret it is that he's saying he's a sicko.
Yes.
Because he just likes watching work rate.
Yes.
He wants to watch matches.
Yes. That's the way I would interpret it as well. Great. But ultimately, if you're going to be a sicko, then you're going to have to do more than just put on great work rate matches. At some point, we're going to need a story or two. And we're not getting that. I mean, I love Swerve. I love Will Ospreay. But this is just basically just like, okay, the Swerve that you could, for lack of a better term, that you could have did was last night, and you didn't do it for whatever reason. They had a great match. Phoenix versus Will Ospreay. That was a great match. It was everything I thought it would be.
Yeah, it fucking ruled.
You know, next thing you know, counter after counter. You know, oh shit, how do you get out of that? Check.
Ray Phoenix he pulled a good match out of Ospreay.
If you wanted to, yeah, right. This motherfucker, you ain't shit. So if you wanted to be
little Bill,
yeah, right. If
Bill.
you wanted to, make me at least have a pause for the cause, you could have took the title off of Ospreay. It wouldn't have hurt. Hell, it helps Ray Phoenix if anything. You like, damn, now that motherfucker's legit.
Oh, there was no chance that Phoenix was winning that.
As soon as he pulled that contract, I was like, yep, that's it. Okay, so we just gonna chalk our way to the final. Now at least in my mind, you kind of booked yourself into a corner because, in theory, one of these two guys has to win. Swerve cannot be the guy that loses this match. It's too
Swerve
early.
is not going to lose this match because Ospreay grabbed the belt. You can't grab the belt when it's not yours. You don't win. Guys that do that don't win.
Can I hold that belt? do you mind if I?
I'm like, Cody, you better not. Keep giving this motherfucker the belt.
If I hold that belt?
So good. I haven't thought about that in a while.
Thank you.
That's so good.
And that was the knee-jerk reaction of...
Can I hold it?
Yeah, that motherfucker was like... He literally had me talking to the TV. He's like, Cody, don't do this shit. You can't let it hit this motherfucker. He giving this motherfucker the belt. I'm like literally narrating my emotions through this. Watching the end of Dynamite when Swerve and, Ospreay were, not even wrestling for the title, but just, I have it, Swerve snatching it back. You remember when Brock and Roman Reigns were, in a feud, and they were at the end of Raw, and they were literally tug of war wrestling for the title? Not saying it was like that, but it was kind of like that. They're not doing... Tony just acts like, okay, this is a match that everybody wants to see, and I'm not going to build much to it. We're just going to roll the ball out and let it happen. That's fine, but damn, can we get a little backstory in this motherfucker some kind of way?
Dude, it was more like it was like a fight in an NBA game. Like, you're like, yeah, you guys really aren't going to do this, but you got to act like it so everybody thinks you're a bitch.
But it's like, I mean, it seems like they know each other from way back. So, like, why? Tell a story. Tell us how they know each other. Tell me that Ospreay told Swerve they sucked, whether it happened or not. You know, just give me something.
It's better than what we've been getting to this point. Let's just jump back to Raw for 30 seconds.
We're talking about WWE.
We're going to bounce back and forth. Just another, obviously, hot storyline. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Liv Morgan slides the room key to Dominic Mysterio. Did anyone see the clip of the Judgment Day standing around there like, nobody's going to fuck, Dom, you need to stay away.
And Balor picked it up.
Dude, it's my boys showed me. I didn't see that until like the next day, and my boy was like, "Did you see this?" I was like, "Should see me what?" And so he showed me that shit. I about fell on the goddamn floor. It was the funniest fucking shit. Whether he was trying to do anything,
I would. Is Finn Balor gonna
you have to fight me for it.
Finn Balor's gonna wear a mullet wig and a little fake mustache. Go Revenge of the Nerds.
Okay, he's about to say, "I'm gonna get me some tonight." This whole Liv Morgan Dom thing has been just intriguing from the start. Now the fact that you're building more and more, at least, heat for it, for a lack of a better term. You're probably going to have a spinoff match because Zelina Vega has attacked Liv Morgan, so now you give Liv Morgan something to do.
Just picturing
in the
Finn
meantime.
Balor with Dom's haircut and a little mustache like that. That would be so fucking funny if Finn Balor had a story where his character just wants to act like he's younger, so he starts like dressing and looking like Dom.
Oh, no.
He just walk in there and be like, "This is the people's mullet."
That's great. Another storyline, obviously, Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. That played out again on Raw, where once again Otis teetering on the border of good versus evil, snaps back to the evil side, drops Sami Zayn just ahead of Clash of the Castle. Obviously, Chad Gable, another guy that we're talking about that has a contract coming up, or if not already expired at this point.
He ain't going nowhere.
Okay, so the way that how do you keep Chad Gable to stay? Is this going to be a money issue? Is this a scenario where you promise him somewhere down the line? Because obviously, Team Gable is literally in your hand. It's right there. You just have to, obviously you have to re-sign him at some point.
He would be great in AEW if he went to AEW and they shot him straight to the top of the card. Straight to the top of the card. He would be great. But I know they're telling him exactly what we were just saying about Ricochet, that, listen, man, you're going to go over there, you're going to be on Rampage. He's like, here, you're in the middle of the hottest story with fucking, you and Sami Zayn have Otis over.
Like a motherfucker.
So, like, I mean, that's what good booking does. Like, Gunther passed it on to Sami Zayn. He's passing it on. I mean, this is the way that wrestling's supposed to work because this is a hot angle. The crowds are feeling it, and they are waiting to bust. When Otis finally turns on Chad Gable, they better not pull a swerve here and have Otis, like, end up staying and, like, snap out of it or something like that. This needs to happen.
I couldn't agree more. There's too much of investment put into this angle to now have it end wonky because of contract, money, whatever word you want to use in this end.
I think it's going to end wonky, but we got predictions coming up.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, we talked about the aforementioned RIP to Ricochet, Io Sky, and Damage Control in a couple of segments. Io beats down Lyra after winning the match, but then says there needs to be a change to Damage Control. Did you see the upcoming match for Io Sky and Utami for the 17th of July?
Yeah, so she is the WWE is allowing her to fight for another promotion.
Marigold,
that's right. Is that the one owned by Jeannie Buss? Doesn't she have something to do with it?
No, that's Rossi's promotion for former Stardom. formerly of Stardom.
Okay, all right.
GD Busto is a woman of wrestling. Wow.
I knew she owned something.
Wow is right on that one. God damn.
I forget what Marigold is. But anyway, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let Io Sky go fight.
That's some funny shit.
It's cool that there seems to be more of an open door policy. I mean, things are happening.
Another WWE announcement on Sunday. Pro Wrestling Noah is going to have a Sunday show. It's a fairly big show, but apparently there's going to be an announcement from Pro Wrestling Noah and WWE. I'm assuming there's some sort of partnership happening there as well.
We are living in the golden age of wrestling.
And I said it to my boy, the funny part about it is we thought this was going to be AEW doing all of these moves. It's the other side that's doing all of these moves.
But they never would have done the moves if AEW didn't exist.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's the reason that you need a second promotion.
If Vince is still in the chair, we doing this shit?
Billy Corgan is not walking through that door. If Vince is still in the chair. No.
Okay, so let's give a little credit. I'm not saying it. Both things can be true. WWE is reacting to AEW going outside of their walls, and in classic WWE fashion, will one-up you.
Yes.
But if Vince was in the chair right now in creative control, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
No, and it's a perfect that's what makes it. I mean, the dominoes had to fall. You know, Vince had to leave. AEW needed to start up as a second viable promotion that was going to steal talent because they did. And that caused WWE to up its game. They're the prince that was promised. We talked about this shit all the time. We used to talk about how WWE sucks, and it fucking sucked from like 2005 to like 2021. It was fucking really bad. All we did was bitch about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
good old days.
and now it's got all three holes.
Oh no!
but it's
He made 3 points.
AEW had to exist for WWE to get this good. I mean, maybe I'm saying it because I'm an AEW sexual.
No. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Competition breeds this shit.
No, I totally agree with that. I couldn't agree with you more. You are making point after point. No argument here. Let's just jump to the main event of Raw so we could talk about AEW real quick.
I like that.
Drew McIntyre defeats Finn Balor to ensure that Judgment Day cannot be a part of the Clash of the Castle main event, I would assume, with McIntyre wrestling Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, this is going to be a quote-unquote home game for Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest is coming in as the heel to begin with. I was saying it to Joey, a.k.a. Tinder Mahal. This feels very Rob Van Dam, John Cena-esque, where Van Dam is coming in as the challenger in this scenario, but he has the home crowd, same as Drew McIntyre. I'm going to be real curious to see how they book this motherfucker. Drew McIntyre has taken some big L's. It hasn't hurt him, obviously, because obviously he's still at the top of the card wrestling for world title matches and all that other good shit. But this one is going to be very interesting. If they the only way I can see them doing it is for the obvious CM Punk fuckery. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I've enjoyed Drew this year. He's totally developed as a wrestler, more so on the character side, where the one thing that I think people always kind of knocked him on was his mic skills, and he's finally got that to where now I feel like he could pretty much hang with anybody in WWE and not have to worry about that. CM Punk, obviously, that feud will be coming up. Now, I'm assuming that will be a SummerSlam match. They'll have plenty of time to do mic battles on the way to that. But neither here nor there. We'll talk about all that good stuff in a minute. Let's jump over to AEW for a second, and this is where, unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, AEW hasn't really done much, at least for me, to make me excited about their product, especially leading to Forbidden Door, which for me is one of them their pay-per-views that I'm kind of excited about because you bring in outside talent like Stephanie Vakir. I think is going to be one of the names that's going to come out of this Forbidden Door, where I think more people will be exposed to her. Obviously, going against Mercedes Moné is going to be a big-time stage for her, and I think a lot of eyes will be on her in that scenario. Just Rampage. I'm sorry, go ahead. You want to say something?
We're done with WWE.
Yeah, I just talked about Drew beating Finn, so that stipulates that Judgment Day can't be a part of.
Do you think they started saying barred from ringside instead of banned from ringside because they stopped wanting to pay us royalties?
No, they said it. Both sides say it.
They said, but they kept saying barred from ringside this time.
Maybe it was just.
Guess what? That's our other name. Pay us.
Hey, fuck you. Pay me like Jay-Z.
That's on our AM station.
That's good. Well played.
Yeah, hold on. That's going to do it for the recount.
1, 2, 3.
Gotta stay professional.
Appreciate it.
Man from ringside.
Rampage was what it was. Penta beats Butcher. The Acclaimed beat a couple of local jobbers. I don't even want to say. Well, actually, it was Gates of Agony. It was the actual tag team defeats Private Party. That doesn't make sense, especially when Private Party was going to be on the Learning Tree segment.
Beat them like real handily.
Yeah, it was weird. Whatever, neither here nor there. Toni Storm probably saved the whole show with another amazing fucking promo. I'm sorry, better choice, vignette. Juice and the Guns beat local jobbers. Sounds like maybe we're doing a Freebird rule, or Juice is going to be the anointed third member of the Unified Trios titles. We'll see what that happens in a little bit. Obviously, they'll have to defend the titles at some point. The main event has your friend and ours, Serena Deeb. I'll let you enter your joke here.
I got nothing. I hope you're doing well.
What's wrong with you, man? You just replaced Bill Baker with a goddamn, imposter over here. She loses to.
I hope they stop giving her those bullshit parties.
There you go. There's my boy.
With the fucking guaranteed gratuity. Those motherfuckers never tip more than the guaranteed gratuity.
Yeah, I hope she's holding that off because she's so good at her job. She's getting double tipped.
Yeah, I hope she's getting a bunch of regulars in tonight.
I was about to say, y'all ain't
And we're not talking about after she leaves Hot Shots.
Like I said.
Hope she's doing well.
Hope she's doing well. I got no jokes.
She loses to Mina Shirakawa in the main event of Rampage. Not much here. To me, Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa was the overriding story of Rampage. They're going to have obviously a contract signing next week on Wednesday to build that matchup. I guess part of the reason why I'm not too thrilled about Forbidden Door, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of intrigue to it. Feels like a bunch of, who's going to win kind of matches.
I mean, that's why the MJF promo cut so deep, because it was so fucking true.
Okay, well, this is what I was going to say about that. The guys that he mentioned in that promo.
Shouldn't have said it. It was too true.
No.
It was too real.
The guys he
when
mentioned.
Keeping it real goes bad.
Yeah, right. With the guys that he mentioned in that promo, Okada's over. I mean, MJF picks that guy. It's not like it's going to change people's perception of Okada. It's not going to change people's perception of Swerve. It's not going to change people's perception of Will Ospreay. So that to me doesn't really bother me the way it bothers you. He went after the top stars, fair enough, but it's not changing the way people are going to look at them and think about them. People are going to all, get excited about those three guys' matches and how they are booked going forward. MJF did what a tweener, in this case, the way I feel like MJF is, he's a tweener. People like him, but he has no problem, pulling the fuckery out of the bag if necessary. He went after guys that he feels like are in the way to get back to the AEW championship. Fair enough.
All right. Yeah, I got nothing to say about Rampage.
Let's jump over to Collision. Obviously, FTR, and apparently one of the last matches we're going to see Dax Hardwood in a while. They wrestled to a time limit draw versus Claudio and little brother Will Yuta. I thought Claudio and Will looked really good here. If Dax was that hurt, you really couldn't tell that much. He looked like he was still wrestling pretty well, but now he's going to be on the shelf with some sort of back injury that he received from the Anarchy in the arena match. Hopefully he'll come back at some point but FTR on the shelf for a little bit. Damn shame about that. But I like the fact that this went to a time limit draw. You made BCC look good in a match that felt like they probably were going to lose at a certain point.
Yeah, this is definitely a match for sickos because it achieved nothing, and they both ended up being friendly with each other at the end because they both beat up Brandon Cutler. So it was a completely pointless 25 minutes of television that you can look at and say, hey, it's FTR versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. That should be a cool match, and it would be a cool match. But it achieved nothing. There was no real animosity between the two. This is the booking for sickos. This is exactly what it is.
It's like they just both got there at the same time and are like, yeah, you guys ready? All
Yeah,
right, put your gear on.
It just, I don't know. It's like, man, I guess there can be too much of a good thing.
CM Punk was right.
I mean, CM Punk was kind of right.
Ooh, I'm telling.
I can say that because I love him. Because I love AEW.
Whoa! Say that first sentence again.
CM Punk was right.
No. Okay, good.
I can say that because I love AEW.
No, man.
I said because I love him. Because I said I love him.
You love who? Who you love?
AEW.
No, who's him? Who's him? Who's him?
EM, like them.
AEW is multiple motherfuckers.
No,
okay,
I'm saying like them.
Motherfucker, you are an English major.
Because
don't you
I
try
love them.
No, you didn't.
That's what I meant.
He
Apostrophe
loves CM Punk.
Yes, he does. Sitting in a tree.
He loves him.
Bill Bacon.
I say we ain't gonna call him CM Punk no more. He gonna be filled with these parts for the next few minutes as long as we on this podcast. Maybe even next week.
Apostrophe EM because I love them. It's like McDonald's fries. I love them.
Yeah, but
I swear to God, that's what I meant.
Dude,
That's not what you said.
you used a hard H. Just like
no,
Hogan using an R.
No. There was no hard H.
Yeah, okay. Tell it how you want to tell. We ain't editing that out in post. Winners in the collision in no particular order. Chris Statlander, Dustin Rhodes, Premier Athletes, Toni Storm, again, just doing the God's work, carrying the whole division by herself. Daniel Garcia and Orange Cassidy defeats Kyle O'Reilly in the main event. Orange Cassidy getting jumped by Trent and company from the Don Callis family. Kyle O'Reilly not too eager to go back and help Orange Cassidy right away. Ultimately, he does. Gets restrained at the Dynamite show by the Kingdom and Roddy Strong.
Can we please make Kyle O'Reilly a heel as soon as possible?
That's what you want to see?
Yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see him be a heel as soon as possible. I do not like him as a babyface.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's where we're going. Kyle O'Reilly's just kind of been booked to the point where if a heel turn does happen, then what's that going to do? It just feels like he'll be one of the guys that's taking the L's for the Kingdom.
Well, yeah, like I don't.
One of the guys that beat down Wardlow when it all happens.
I think that he's getting way too much TV time. I do not need this much Kyle O'Reilly.
I did not expect that one. Okay, fair enough. Damn. Dynamite opens with Swerve coming
I don't
out.
want him to lose his job or anything. I'm not telling him to come find me. I'm just saying. Make him a heel, and then he can be on TV more. I don't like him as a babyface.
Okay, fair enough. Swerve comes out. We talked about this. This is the segment to set up Blood and Guts. I believe that is a month from now. If Zach was here, I'm sure he would know the exact date. Neither here nor there. That spins off into a Jack Perry, Dustin Rhodes, TNT qualifying ladder match. Dustin Rhodes getting busted up. Didn't see that one coming. This was a nasty little cut. Jack Perry goes
Bleeding
over
like a stuck pig.
Yeah, this was everywhere. I was like, God damn, man, you cut a little deep on this motherfucker, huh? Yeah, that's some stitches, maybe staples.
Up, right?
That's some stitches, maybe staples, but neither here nor there. Jack Perry wins. Do you still think Jack Perry is the odds-on favorite to win the TNT title?
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy.
He wasn't even ready to fight. He was wearing jeans.
Yeah, he still won the match. I was just like, okay, fair enough, motherfucker.
I mean, Dustin cut a big promo on Collision to kind of set up the match. like a pretty fiery long promo, which that's the kind of shit I appreciate. If you're going to set up a match, if you're going to have a match between Jack Perry and Dustin Rhodes, don't just have it show up on Dynamite. Have one of them cut a promo on Collision. I know they do that a lot, but like in-ring promos count more than vignettes for me.
Dustin can talk, so I mean, in this scenario, you had the right person to build the match, speaking in front of a live crowd. Vignettes are fine. As long as you're telling the story and it all makes sense. I don't care how you do it. For Dustin Rhodes, I agree with you. This felt a little more personal. You know, you had that intrigue, or the
You're heaping a lot of praise on me this episode. I like it.
Oh, I mean, I call it the way I see it. Roosh defeats local jobber. Obviously, MJF comes out. They're getting held back. Looks like we're going to get MJF versus Roosh at Forbidden Door. God bless you, Roosh. I wish more
next
for
week.
you. Oh, is it next week?
Yep.
Perfect. Even better. Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Roddy Strong surprisingly beats Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe. Kyle Fletcher, surprisingly, pins Mark Briscoe. I've been very critical about Kyle O'Reilly losing as a ROH TV champion. Fuckery aside, he did get the pin. What are we going? Are we doing title versus title? Where are we going with this? Because Mark Briscoe is somebody that we see on a regular basis, and now he's gotten pinned on TV. It usually is for a reason. Is this Mark Briscoe's first challenger or second, I guess, better choice of words?
Yeah. I mean, that's why he got the pin. I love that he got the pin. I'm a big Kyle Fletcher mark.
Agreed.
The dude fucking rules. So, yeah, I would love to see him with the ROH championship.
So we're 2 belts, Kyle Fletcher?
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's lots of intrigue. I don't know.
Fair enough. Backstage,
I would love a Kyle Fletcher Mark Briscoe one-on-one match.
I would like to see that too. I would think that Kyle Fletcher would lose, but I think he would gain something in that.
Yeah, Briscoe is fun.
That backstage promo that he cut on Dynamite, nigga.
God. Kyle O'Reilly looked like a Make-A-Wish kid in that fucking segment, dude.
Stop.
He should be wearing a Cena shirt.
No shit. I'm not trying to fucking bury. That's a bad term. I'm not trying to be mean to Make-A-Wish kids. I'm making fun of Kyle O'Reilly. He didn't look like a pro in that segment. Oh man, that was terrible.
Oh,
Again, Bill shows off that he's been running, and now that he can backpedal, he wants to do it all the time.
Watch this, guys. Phoenix with a backstage promo or backstage vignette. Renee doing the talking, setting up the main event. Shingo announces that he's going to be in the Owen Hart tournament. I like Shingo in the tournament. I'm not sure he's going to go far, but I like the fact that he's in the tournament itself. Hook and Joe beats the premier athletes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I like this thing that they're doing with Hook and Joe, where it's showing them talk before they go into action. And, like, Hook kind of acts like a little brother, and Joe kind of acts like a, like, kind of excitable older dude. Like, he's, I don't know. It's pretty funny. But I really liked it when they showed it on Collision, and they were going to attack the premier athletes backstage, and it showed them, like, walking up the hall. You never see in wrestling, when there's a surprise attack, you never see it from the perspective of the guys that are doing the surprising. I appreciate that. That's different, and it was pretty cool.
No, the Collision segment I thought was better than the Dynamite segment.
Definitely.
The Collision segment felt like, okay, we're jumping them in their locker room where, you know, you really not supposed to be doing no shit like this. This is perfect.
That's an example though of different good.
Yeah,
Like, they're doing something different and it's cool.
That's Joe being like, hey, this is how you get shit done. Follow me. We're going to their locker room.
Right.
We're gonna fight an away game tonight.
They were talking about bullshit walking up though. They weren't even talking about that. They were talking about some bullshit.
But metaphorically,
they were talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar, weren't they?
They were like Vince and Jules in Pulp Fiction talking about the quarter pounder with cheese before they go kill what's his face. Remember his name?
Big brain on Brad.
Yeah.
Let's say that. I'll never forget that shit. That's great shit.
I wouldn't say he's got a weight problem. Simone, what's he gonna do?
Stephanie back here with a
That's
nice
that
little
Hawaiian
vignette.
burger joint.
Mercedes Moné defeats Zexis. Zexis is apparently the tag team partner of Stephanie Vaquer, so that kind of has that connective tissue. Obviously, Mercedes Moné, Stephanie Vaquer, a part of the Forbidden Door show, title versus title, New Japan and TBS championship. This is one of the match I want to see. I don't expect Mercedes to lose, but weirder things have happened. Toni Storm and Mariah May with the backstage segment. Obviously, TV time with the Learning Tree was next. I guess this is going to set up your boy Brian Keith and the Redwood versus Private Party. Once again, not sure why we didn't have Private Party win on Rampage, but neither here nor there. Go ahead, talk about your boys.
They need to call, if Brian Keith and the Big Redwood, Big Bill, are going to be a tag team, they need to call them like the Acorns or something. They need to give them a really cheesy name that has to do with trees.
The branches are the fans of the Learning Tree, so I would just, it would have to be something that grows off of the tree, acorn, something like that.
Sycamores.
Are they calling fans of the Learning Tree branches?
Jericho said it twice, and
I'm a branch.
where it felt like he was referring to people that were Learning Tree fans as branches. So I'm saying yes, like beefers, akin to beefers, if you will.
We love our beefers. Find us wherever you get podcasts and give us 5 stars. Give us a review. We'd really appreciate it.
Then obviously, like we already talked about, the main event, Rey Fenix versus Ospreay for the international title. Ospreay retains. Like we said, really good match. If you haven't seen it, shame on you. Go check it out. But then the obvious backstage, not backstage, but post-match angle where they set up a match for Forbidden Door, more so. I don't know what Tony's going to do. You've gotten it to the point where we're here way faster than I thought we were going to be here. Both guys are champions. Both guys are super over. It's babyface versus babyface. I'm not sure what we're going to see coming up, but I will say this much. It's intriguing. I'm going to go out on the limb and say I will not be surprised to see the draw. I'm going to stick to that. I will have to make an official pick, one or the other, but I will not be surprised to see a draw. I'm not saying that I like the shit, but to me, it protects both guys. And ultimately, you want both guys to come out better than they were. To me, that's the one safe way to do it.
All right. That's part of the odds and ends. You know what? I think that's all the odds and ends.
Shit, it's your motherfucking show.
Ringside.
It's going to be your odds and ends we want to. Sing that shit.
Hey, everybody. We got some predictions this week.
Should have did that a while ago, motherfucker.
Clash at the Castle. Clash at the Castle is this Saturday. Daytime pay-per-view.
What time is it? Is it
It's for Thursday. No, it's noon, I think.
okay, perfect. I was about to say Saturday, right?
It is Saturday.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Up first,
I got to sneak that joker in some kind of way.
we're gonna start with Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the heavyweight championship, World Heavyweight Championship, whatever they call it.
Undisputed.
And this is an I Quit match. So go ahead and go first, Jason. Who you got?
Obviously, I'm going to have to take Cody Rhodes on this one. This will be my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the week. I'm intrigued. I don't care. You know, I know you don't like I Quit matches, last standing matches, whatever the case may be. I think that at least the feud has gotten it to the point where it makes sense for this to come up, where you've jumped Cody Rhodes, made him look like a fool in front of everybody, beat him down post-match, or not even post-match, but post-interview, whatever you want to call it. No problem with it. Let him go. Cody's going to have a long road with the title. This is just part of that long road.
Oh, yeah, I am taking Cody Rhodes also, and that is also my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Log of the week. I was trying to think of a way. What could happen? Is there some bloodline interference, something like that? I don't know.
The OC is the only thing that I can think of. You know, they got to collect their checks probably first and 15th. So this is probably the 15th check.
Cody is not losing this match, though. Up next, we have Bayley versus Piper Niven. I'll go first. So it would be fun for Piper Niven to win this in Scotland, or I don't think that I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to talk about the United Kingdom. But I'm going to go Bayley. This is a nice spot for Piper Niven, but we're not going to have Piper Niven versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam. It's going to be Bayley versus Nia Jax. And this is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Block of the Week. Jason, who you got?
Damn, you throwing around lead pipe blocks of the week. That's two, motherfucker. I mean, pick one or the other. You just can't have them both. Pick one.
You just said it's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
And in true Bill Vagey fashion, he does so.
I don't even flex like that anymore.
You literally just did on air, and we fucking recorded it.
That's twice, by the way. It's going to be Bayley here. I like Piper Niven to come back, look strong in front of the home crowd, but it would be a surprise to see Bayley lose this early in her title reign. I'll take Bayley.
All right. Coming up next, we have for the women's tag belts, we have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. I think they're called Isle of Fire or something like that, which is really swerving our glory-ish. Versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
Okay, hang on.
You're up, Jason.
Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, swerving our gory-ish? Nah, man, that needs to be on the list of one of the worst names we've heard. Bang Bang Scissor Gang? Okay, still number one, still worst angle of the year? Yes. But if that's their name, that's horrible. I'm assuming we were going least to worst or least to most in this scenario.
That's right.
Give me whatever that bullshit team name is. Fire at Dawn as least likely to win. Hopefully Alba Fire is going to be able to wrestle. Better person than me. Like I said, I would be out. Obviously, in the middle, we'll go with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. They feel like a more of a formidable threat. Dawn and Fire have hardly been on TV. The only reason, this is no disrespect, part of the reason that they're on TV is that they're going over to Glasgow, but obviously it's Jade and Bianca. I said it last week. I don't know who the team is. It's going to beat them at some point when they drop the titles. It might not be a powerhouse team. It might not even be a team that we see right now, but here in this spot, they're putting teams together, getting a women's tag team division against Jade and Bianca, and it still ain't going to matter. I'll take the champs to retain.
I mean, I am taking Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark last, just to mix it up. If they're going to pop the crowd and have, like, Bianca and Jade split up for a while, then why not have the hometown team win? So I got Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark last, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn second, and Bianca and Jade to retain. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Champion. I've gone back and forth a few times like this. I've also been burned picking in this Intercontinental. At least I didn't pick Sami Zayn last time. I picked Bronson Reed. I'm
not going to laugh. I picked the OC.
But my thinking there was who can get over the most. But then I started thinking they're not going to have I don't know. I'm going Sami Zayn. When in doubt, go with the championship holder.
I'm with you. I bounce back and forth because I keep thinking to myself, Chad Gable needs to stay. If he stays, there's got to be like the incentive to stay. Here's why you're going to stay. Ultimately, that feels like the Intercontinental title might be the precious, if you will, to keep Chad Gable around. I'll do it. Fuck it. I'm taking Chad Gable. This will be the upset special of the week. I think this is, it's too many dominoes for Chad Gable just to allow him to just go away. It would stop Sami Zayn's title run, and that would be a little disappointing. Not saying that Sami Zayn couldn't get it back at a later point. I think Sami Zayn would just be in chase mode. He's obviously great in chase mode. I'll pull the trigger. Fuck it. I'll take Chad Gable. Why not?
Woo! All right. Woo. And finally, for the
talk about self in that shit.
World Heavyweight Championship, we have Damian Priest, who has the belt, versus Drew McIntyre, homecoming, Glasgow, Scotland, where he's from. Jason, I already have my shit written down. Who you got? I'm good.
Just obviously, I was talking about that leading into this match itself. This is going to be a hot crowd, and more so hot because of this title match. This is where CM Punk comes back into play. I don't want it to happen, but the winner of this match gets Gunther. I don't want to necessarily see Gunther versus Drew right now. I think it happens somewhere down the line. And ultimately, your boy Phil Brooks is going to make his triumphant return after being gone for quite some time. Fuckery comes into play to help Drew lose the match, since obviously Judgment Day won't be at ringside. So yeah, I'm gonna take Damian Priest to retain, but assist to one Phil Brooks.
Because what is Judgment Day? Banned from ringside.
Oh, nigga, that's what's
Barred
up.
from ringside. McIntyre, I'm taking McIntyre. So, the reason being McIntyre versus Gunther, I don't want them to wait for that. I want to see that. I think maybe something like CM Punk comes back and gets foiled. Maybe Damian Priest fucks with, maybe CM Punk comes out, gets fucked up by Damian. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I cannot see them not letting Drew McIntyre get that moment at Scotland twice in a row. I just can't see it. It feels like chalk to me, because why wouldn't you give that to them? Let's see it. I want to see it. It's going to be a moment. I'm taking Drew McIntyre.
I'm not saying that it's not a far-fetched prediction. It's one of those. It's Sammy and Chad really makes me go back and forth.
Oh, I think
this is probably the next one that makes me go back and
I bet
forth.
the Vegas betting odds are on McIntyre. I think that he probably has a better chance of winning than Damian Priest. I almost think that your pick is kind of ballsier.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I was going to say Sammy feels like more so of the favorite, a safe pick. To me, the more if Chad wins, it wouldn't be a surprise. If Damian Priest retains, that's a surprise.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
we agree.
Yeah, so in that scenario, you picking Drew, I think, is a little more of a ballsier. No, I wouldn't say it's chalk. No, I won't say it's chalk. I won't. I think it's going to really. It's how they're going to book it. Like I said, I think CM Punk comes into play and really foils Drew again to the point where now he sees dead red. It's nothing but CM Punk, and that's a SummerSlam match.
I will get Zach's predictions tomorrow.
He better not be listening after this shit.
Yeah, it's really going to help. Oh, don't listen to our predictions first.
Fucker.
Spoiler alert. When did the G1 blocks come out? It's like tomorrow, right?
Yeah, whenever their next show is Sunday. That's the Desperado show cage match. I'm assuming that's when they'll announce who's in which blocks and the matches that will be the qualifying matches to get the 17, 18, 19th, and 20th guys in. So, yeah, I would assume that we should see that on Sunday, the Noah WWE announcement on Sunday. Big week in wrestling, big weekend in wrestling. Everything is...
Just picture me doing the Joey Porter gif. Can't wait.
No, that was Bart Scott.
Yeah, Bart Scott.
Fuck. What's the Joey Porter one?
Joey Porter, I don't think had... the only one the one that I could think of Joey Porter is, and this is when he was obviously with the Steelers, he got shot in Denver in the offseason, and they were going to go play Denver in the AFC
Who
title
shot him?
game.
Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, right. Stay off my lawn.
It was one of Ray Lewis's buddies. Right. And I'm using quote marks.
He ain't gonna make it to the AFC title game.
Ray Lewis's friends who have face tattoos.
It's like they shot me in Denver or some shit like that.
Yeah, but hey, their families are doing well.
So I can't wait. This is all I was trying to say.
You ain't shit.
Before we make enemies, I just can't wait for the blocks. I want to see the blocks.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Zack Sabre Jr. is, who's going to be on that side, the outside promotions with 20 names. You won't see a lot of, like, Blake Christians, Tetons, like you did see in the Best of Super Juniors. There was, like,
For the record, I predicted Dolph Ziggler, but that's when I thought it was going to be 32 guys again. I am not predicting Dolph Ziggler.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
unless he's in there, then I predicted it.
yeah, right. I wouldn't be surprised. I would probably think that I'm inclined to agree with you that he won't be in there. To me, this feels like a lot of New Japan and like sprinkling some Noah or CMLL, something like that. But I don't
be Boulder, fucking.
Oh Jesus!
What the fuck is his name? Peter Avalon.
Stop.
Cesar Bononi.
Well played. You pulled that one out your ass.
AEW's like, get those guys in there.
Yeah, right. I'll say you dudes.
Yeah, we'll put Shingo in the tournament.
Yeah, right. Here's Cesar Bononi in exchange.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. Oh, bittersweet. Virgil would have been 62. R.I.P.
Oh, shit.
The aforementioned Peter Avalon, 35 this week. Happy birthday.
That's why you said Peter Avalon, motherfucker?
Yeah, he was on the brain. What I should have said was Chuck Palumbo was 53.
Stop.
Who would have thought?
Are you going to bring that shit up? Are you getting ready to bring it up?
I'm bringing it up that his ex-husband, Billy Gunn,
Oh, my God.
is very popular. Still very popular, even though, I mean, fuck the Acclaimed.
Jesus.
Bailey is 30. Acclaimed, come find me.
It's been weeks. That should have been the slam dunk like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, how awesome would it be if they made a diss track about Bill?
Oh,
Dude,
don't tease me with a good time.
lame.
Oh my God.
Hey, we got the candy snatcher on our side. We'll be all right.
Please, God, if you actually exist,
Professor Sims.
can somehow, some way, the Acclaimed just hear the little snaps of Bill just going off and just
Systems 3.
blow him the fuck up. You can talk about me too if you want to. I don't care.
Come find me, yeah. I mean, I'm not. These guys don't worry me.
As he's rocked back.
Bailey is
I know.
35.
You can tell the pre-roll's gone.
Bailey is 35. Warrior, R.I.P., is 65.
I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Looking up at us.
Yeah.
Sandman is 61. Razor is 30. That motherfucker's only 30 years old.
What?
Yeah, Razor is 30.
From Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
30 years old.
30 years old.
Nigga look like 45.
He really does.
You look like you 45.
Ain't nothing but an old sperm.
You rap? You rap?
Jungle Jack Perry is 27, and Minoru Suzuki is 56. Now, he looks 56.
That's them Budweisers, though.
He drinks Budweiser
Oh, yeah.
with the OC.
What else is he doing?
Hey, for Tinder Mahal,
Check.
for Lucha Chris,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Patriot Pat,
Check.
for Brett Jagger,
Check.
for, I forget some of these, it's not here,
No, we're good.
for Vice,
Check.
for Two Beers, Zach Coleman.
Check.
We'll see you next week. Zach, for Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa,
I am Bill
bitches.
Bakey. Black
Check.
Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Double
Give
check.
your parents a call.
Triple check.
Never, ever forget to boo the heels.
Ooh, bitch.
Happy Father's Day.